And the last presentation will be given by Remy Tourment from Irstea, formerly Semagreb, Aix-en-Provence, France. Please. You can start with your presentation.
Thank you. So I will speak about a part of the FloodPro project which deals with Levee failures related to structure transitions, and I will present briefly the results of our work. So this task is part of the FloodPro project, which is made of different work packages, work package 3 being related to the performance of urban flood defenses. And this project, this action 3.1.2 is about structure transitions. And it relates to, in part, to the other subtasks of this work package. And we worked in conjunction with the different subtasks. So why did we interest, why were we interested into structure transitions? Because that an estimation of the origin of the Levee breaches shows that most of the ones that are not caused by overtopping or overflowing are in some way related to internal erosion in one of its different forms. And an estimate about the origin of these internal erosion causes shows that about half of these relate in some type or other of transition. Furthermore, other types of mechanisms can be related to presence of transitions in the levees, particularly external erosion or even instabilities. Transitions are usually weak points in levee systems, so either because of the specific failure modes that can happen at the interface between the different sides of the transitions, or also because of specific problems due to pure design of these details, or even because of problems of management, because in many cases the management for the levee is not the same as the management for the structure. This is very common in case of pipes, cables, and such type of inclusions. This fact is generally known and recognized both by levee managers and engineering companies, but so far there is a huge lack of knowledge to specific analysis of failure mode of these transitions, as well as in terms of guidance, assessment, or design. So these are just two illustrations of the problems that can be found caused by transitions. This is a bridge that was caused by a pipe inside the levee. This is in a Rhone River. And this one is a bridge that was caused by pipes, as you can see in here. You can see the trench where the pipe, the cables, were before the bridge happened, and you can see this from different angles. So our work was made in 4 steps. First, we made a review of different events where defense failure occurred and could be linked to structure transitions. Then these events were analyzed in order to produce a typology of the different structure transitions. Then for each of these types, at least most of these types, a template was filled, including description of the transition illustrated by photos and drawings, the potential problems, the ways to detect both the transition and the possible problems that's already happening due to the presence of the transition. And finally, in terms of general principle, design guidance for new construction, the potential repair or retrofit solutions in case of poor design or construction. Finally, in our report, we present how this new knowledge can be used in order to, with the flood site task 4 report, in order to update the way to work on defense reliability assessments. So this is a list of the case studies which have been analyzed. I won't read it all. You will the report will be freely available as well, I think, as this presentation. So these events were analyzed and helped us to produce the following typology, which was described with these key descriptors. So a specific form was filled in each case for 9 transition types that can be found on this diagram, which is a summary of the type of transition. It can be easily used starting from the bottom, from the top to the bottom, to make the distinction between different type of transitions. So what is a transition? Is it between a levee segment and structure being something which is hard by opposition to something which is also embankment object. Or is it between the levee itself and its revetment? That may be something that we didn't think about when we started the research, but a lot of also interface problems are related between the main body of the levee and its revetment, or with a flood wall above the levee, or with another levee segment which can have either a difference in terms of cross-section, in terms of revetment, or and mixed, and in terms of also a flood wall adjacent to the levee. And finally, natural high ground, which relates to the same case as before. For each of these 9 types that are with double lines on the drawing, we presented both problems, which are in red on this graph, and solutions, which are in green on the graph. So forms. This is an example form for in case of what we call linear crossing structure, which in most of cases are pipes, with the different headings. Again, because of time constraints, I won't read everything. These are the main different sections, main failure modes related to the transitions, how the transition can be detected, schematic drawings to better understand the type of transition, how the problems can be detected, or what are the problem indicators, and finally best practice in terms of design or repair retrofit, and also in terms of management. Because as I've told before, some problems can arise because of management. Just to picture, in this case, but there are more in the report that are illustrating the form. This is one problem. Problem is a pipe crossing a levee with a poor contact and no special treatment at the interface. And then a solution not related to this specific problem, but related to the problem of transition of a pipe. In case of when we have a pipe, pressure pipe, we can adopt this type of profile, a siphon shape. In this case, we lower the gradient along the pipe because most of the pipe is higher in the ground, so the gradient along the contact surface is lower. This is just an example. And then the last part of the report about analyzing transition in part of system risk. Our analysis of the question show that transition, the specific problems caused by transitions in levees are usually not taken into account into current reliability analysis of flood defense systems, because they study, as we have seen in the previous presentations, usually length of defenses with homogeneous composition. Sometimes pipes can be or specific structure are analyzed, but most of the time we forget about the problem of transition between different types of embankments and the specific internal erosion mechanisms that can arise because of different cross sections in terms of embankment composition. So our proposition is that reliability analysis in the case of transitions can be performed first by understanding the failure mode linked to this type of transition, then either through the production of limit state equations or other type of assessment methods like index-based methods, and this link with task 3.3, which describe and propose improvement in terms of methods of assessment. We can produce fragility or reliability curves or other type of results for assessment, which then can be incorporated into a system risk analysis. Then we have two choices, either by directly incorporating the transition as an object in the length analysis, or by adjustment of the performance of a specific length of the levee. So it depends on the discretization of the levee which is used for reliability analysis. In conclusion, we present a list of improvement. We present all along the report a list of improvements that can already be applied in order to incorporate transitions into the process of levee assessment. And we also found a list of remaining gaps, including mainly in fundamental knowledge, the way to better understand some of these specific failure modes. For example, what really happens at the small scale between a hard structure and a soil structure. And also better tools to locate this transition zone and to characterize the physical phenomenon that happen. And the three final points are key aspects to consider for improving the design, construction and management process, which both links to the results and to the remaining gaps in knowledge, raising our awareness and providing guidance on the issue of structure transitions, provision of specific methods for the performance analysis of each specific type of transition, and finally we hint at producing more detailed guidance of very specific types of solutions for transitions, moving from the generic guidance to transition-specific solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And please, some question from the floor. No questions? So, thank you very much. So we are at the end of our session. Thank you once more to all lecturers, to our audience, to all who asked some questions. I think that the importance of this session is obvious. It is to increase the stability of dikes, levees, small dams, as they are last chance to protect countrysides or cities against floods. Thank you very much.